Hello and welcome back to the preview show. I'm Casey Campbell. That's Jonathan Fiel from the Racing Experts as usual. We have had quite the weekend at Of course, boy oh boy, Talladega was fun. Brad Keselowski won the Cup race. Jeb Burton won a rain-shortened race at Talladega. Let's overall recap the weekend.
Yeah, Jeb Burton got the win at Talladega. It was great to see him get that. Last year he came really close to getting the win in June at Talladega. Got passed on the last lap, of course, when he's driving for JRM. Now driving for Cal Lake, who's been so strong in the Super Speedway. It's great to see him get a win there.
So kind of going into this weekend, we always, every time we leave a super speedway race, there's always this controversy that happens at the racetrack. And of course, Joey Logano it says, we need to make with all that. Who knows what's going to happen with that?
Mm-hmm. And as far as super speedway racing goes, it's always going to be a dangerous thing. When you have 40 cars packed together going 2, 3, 4 wide, inches from each other going 200 miles per hour, it's always going to be a dangerous thing. But I think the one thing that NASCAR should never stop striving to do is they should never stop striving to make it the safest product as possible. And I think after Logano's flip, they're definitely going to go back to the drawing board and say, what can we do to enhance the different features of the car? The roof flaps, the cowl flaps, the shark fins, the roof rails, different aspects of the car to help them stay on the ground. One thing that I noticed about Joey Logano's crash is he spun sideways, and then at the very end, he got clipped by Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and that's what sent the car over. So I think they'll look at, how do we prevent cars getting airborne, when they get hit on the quarter panel, and try to prevent those flips and keep on innovating. I think NASCAR can do it. I don't think they have to change the race product, but just keep on innovating, keep on working. Even we're working with more roof protection too, especially after the Newman crash last year too.
Yeah. Okay, a couple things that happened this week. Non off the track stuff. We found out that the All-Star race format was announced for Texas. It's really hard to kind of keep up with. I know there's 6 rounds and all that stuff. It's really hard, to understand. So if you want to go look at the format, go ahead, for Texas and stuff. But
I was a little confused too when I saw it, but I think so. We'll kind of break it down here. So round 1, 15 laps, and then after that round, anywhere from 8 to 12 will be inverted to be selected by a random draw. 15th, the entire round 2, 15 laps, the entire field will be inverted after that. Round 3, 15 laps, and then the same thing as round 1. And then round 4, 15 laps. And then round 5, 30 laps. And then, it's a lot of different rounds, a lot of different things going on. You can check NASCAR.com for that. But I don't know. I think it's great to see kind of the fun little goofiness going on, but also at the same time too, someone made this claim on Twitter and said it from an unnamed source. If you can't explain it to someone when you're watching the race on mute at a bar, then you kind of failed the whole purpose of what's going on. So I think maybe simplifying the format a little bit might do the format some good, but we'll have to see.
Okay, so and then another thing this week before we get into talking about the Truck Series and the Cup Series as well at Kansas. There was another interesting post this week that the Race Team Alliance is consulting Nielsen to look at possibly sliding the numbers back. I know that's been a topic of conversation all season long. And I go, whether you like it or not, the numbers are going to slide back. And it looks like fans are kind of coming around to the idea of, this is going to happen.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting because Adam Stern I tweeted something about that, and then I think in the day or two after that, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Posted a picture on Dale Earnhardt's birthday of a number 3 car with the number slid back and good wrench on the side. And I think Mike Joy made a post about how back in the day the contingency decals were in one part of the car and we had the number in another part, and now the contingency decals are gone, so we got to move the number. So it's interesting just that all of this is kind of lining up. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist or anything like that, but I think it is inevitable that this is going to happen. And I think it's definitely a change from what's standard or what's norm. But if the designers and the graphic designers and of course the sponsors, which are have the final say on these schemes, do it right, I think it could really be not as drastic of a change as we think it's going to be. I think Dale Earnhardt Jr. had a really good point with posting that car is didn't look too far off from what you'd see from a typical stock car.
So yeah, well, we got to discuss some truck news. Apparently, there were 2 pieces of news. As I told you before, Tanner Gray will have a new crew chief this week. Seth Smith will be the interim crew chief as Shane Wilson has been relieved of his duties per Bob Pockrass. And Bailey Curry will be in the 45 truck this week for Nice Motorsports for Brett Moffitt. So as you may have heard, I don't know if we talked about this yet, but Brett Moffitt a few weeks ago switched from truck points to Xfinity points and is running for the full season at Our Motorsports. Boy, this is interesting.
Yeah, it should be. You know that Our Motorsports Chevrolet has had good speed this season, and I don't know, like Nice has just been kind of off this season with Brett Moffitt. They just haven't been on the mark as much, but good break for Bailey Curry though. He's really been uh, having some good runs with that Mike Harmon Racing car. Him and Kyle Weatherman have been doing pretty good with that car, so it's good to see.
Yeah. Of course, you know, there were several throwback schemes that were also revealed this week. So kind of special. We're doing a Michael Carey from TobyChristie.com will be coming on my podcast next week to preview all the paint schemes and all that fun stuff. If there is someone that is Mr. Paint Scheme enthusiast himself, it is him. So he'll be on to talk about some of his favorite schemes they were revealed this week. Hey, so what has been your favorite scheme that's been released so far?
Oh, I really like, well, of course, the Hot Wheels throwback that we talked about a week or two ago on the show. I also like, I know it's pretty standard, the Alan Kowicki throwback that Chase Elliott's run. That's pretty classy. Also, one that Justin Haley was announced to be running this past week, the Robert Presley throwback scheme. Like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What's your favorite?
So a couple of mine that I like, we had Tommy Joe Martins on a few weeks ago to talk about, the Rich Bickle 10-10-345 Lucky Dog car. That's a cool scheme. Nothing stands out like purple. So, that's a favorite scheme of mine. One that was released yesterday, Timothy Peters is going to be running a tribute to the Bobby Hamilton scheme, and like the old Square D scheme in the 25 truck. So that's cool. And actually, we're going to have Chad Kendrick is going to come on the podcast, who is Timothy Peters' crew chief. So he'll be on next week to kind of talk about that because, of course, he was at Bobby Hamilton Racing. Timothy Peters also drove for Bobby Hamilton Racing at the time. So it's Chad has been there Chad was there for a long time, so it'll be kind of fun to reminisce some memories on that. Also, the Jeremy Clemensdale Jarrett scheme, that's pretty cool. Riley Herbst's Tony Stewart scheme. I know that was used before, but I like the scheme that the 98 has. So and I also did like the Spire scheme out there. That Justin Haley put out there, and I think Corey LaJoie is going to reveal his throwback scheme, I think, today, and I think Harrison Burton's going to reveal his as well. So stay tuned for sure. Okay, so it is time to make some picks. By the way, Xfinity is off this week. They'll be back next week at Darlington. The trucks are back. They'll be running at Kansas. The Cup Series is at Kansas. Also, the ARCA Menard Series is at Kansas as well. Let's start with trucks. What you got, bud?
Eh, let's go with, well, I think I'm going to go with a favorite. Let's go with Matt Crafton. He has the best average finish of any driver in the last 10 races, 4.7, 9 top 10s the last 10 races. So I'm going to go with Matt Crafton.
I'm going to go with somebody that has consistently beaten Kyle Busch this year. I think the 4 of John Hunter Nemechek is going to get it done. We've seen that 4 truck do well. Kyle did not have the best truck at Richmond. He'll be in the truck race at Kansas. Maybe whenever Marty's going to bring a good truck for Kyle. Of course, I'm referring to Marty Lindley, his crew chief. So it'll definitely be good to see. I think it's going to be between the 4 and the 51 this weekend. And plus, you got all those. You got Crafton. Christian Eckes is back in the 98 this week. So you got Ben Rhodes. Stuart Friesen's run well. Austin Hill, of course, won at Kansas. Won one of the Kansas races last year. So definitely it'll be good for that. So all right, truck. All right, Cup racing. We got
Cup racing. Well, I think I like parity, and this guy has not gotten to victory lane since one of the most recent 1.5 mile races that took place. I'm going to go with Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch to win. He's been stink bitten at this track, but he's been pretty good lately. 3rd best average finish, 8 top 10s in last 10 races, led some laps back in July. I'm going to go with Kyle Busch.
It'll be a weekend sweep for Toyota. I'm going to go with Denny Hamlin. I think that we've seen him run consistently at Kansas. We've seen him run consistently all over the place, and he has not won. Denny is going to get his first win of the season. I think we're going to kind of start to see the guys that normally win every week, they're going to win. But with this package, you never know what happens. But that'll be fun. We've been picking some good ones lately.
So. Oh yeah, like Talladega. Each of our picks won a stage each, and DiBenedetto came very close to winning. That was cool.
That'll be fun. Hey, another thing that was just announced this week, apparently on the Atlanta Motor Speedway website, it was announced that they will be running the Quaker State 400 in July at full capacity. Now, obviously things don't, what the definition of full capacity means that, full grandstands. We don't know if that means, fans are going to be allowed back in the infield with hot passes and, interacting with drivers, getting autographs, taking pictures. We'll see how that works out. But it's looking like some things are going to be good in the horizon. Obviously everybody wants to see full grandstands again, so it'll be definitely be interesting to see how that one goes in July. But anyway, that is the preview show for this weekend at Kansas. Don't forget the Bushy McBush race will be at Kansas Speedway. That'll be on Sunday. The trucks are on Saturday night at 7:30, and the ARCA Menard Series at 1:30 p.m. Of course, you got IndyCar this weekend as well. They will be at the Texas Motor Speedway this week. So there. But anyway, Jonathan, thanks for coming on, buddy. And we will see you next week to preview Throwback Weekend at Darlington.